should be your first obligation? What should be your first obligation? Sometimes when I'm putting a message together, I like to bounce it off of people. So I'll pick up the phone and call people and ask them stuff like, what's your first obligation? So last night when I was working on this, well actually today, I started trying to work on it last night, but I called a few people, I said, what's your first obligation? And the answers that I got was like, to my family, to my job, things like that, So thank you. So I can be sure that's like my pulse, that I take. Bounce it off of others and see what they're going to say. I was at, what's this mall out here? Mills? St. Louis Mills Mall the other day, looking for some luggage. And I heard there was a Samsonite luggage store there in the middle. So I went inside the middle, but here was the problem. I had no idea where the store was. Okay? And so, since I didn't know where the store was, I thought that I would ask a couple of people. Only to find out that they were just as ignorant as I was. I'm talking about people who work there, right? And it's really bad when you're looking for direction from somebody and they tell you, I think it's, I'm not sure, but I think if you go down here to such and such, I'm asking you for direction. And you're going to take a chance on misdirecting me instead of saying, I don't know. Right. So I thought it's best for me to do something to help me really determine where I was. So I went to the directory in the mall. And it's deep, y'all, because every mall directory has a little dot on it. And what does that dot say? You are here. All right, y'all got it. Everybody know. 3 words. You are here. I felt so much better. Isn't it amazing what 3 words will do? Before I saw that dot, I was a little frustrated. I was a little apprehensive, just a little concerned because I had no idea where in the mall I was as opposed to start looking for. But when I saw the mall directory and looked at it and saw the layout and saw that little red dot that said, you are here, I said, all right now. Yeah. But guess what, family? Once you've identified the location of where you are in life,
that's right,
it better equips you to get to where you need to go.
I should.
You need to find the dot that says you are here. All right. You see, I think any journey of self-discovery requires a significant amount of introspection. You see, we have these questions like, who am I? Why am I here? Meaning not at this particular spot that I'm standing in, but why am I here? Why do I exist? What is the real purpose of my life? And ultimately, now here's the deep question. Will my life even matter? And that's what you really need to be asking yourself. in someone else's life? If the answer to that question is not really, that means you've wasted a lot of time. I've had the privilege of eulogizing people who, when I'm standing doing the eulogy out, there's a casket in front of me, there's a body in the casket, and there's one or two people sitting on a pew. And of course, I would never say to those people who were there, but in the back of my mind, I'm saying, Tom, what kind of life did this person have that here we are at their funeral and nobody's here? And then I've been to funerals where people lined up all outside because of how they touched somebody's life. Too many people. And by the way, if you don't mind, I'd like to not be Pastor Ray for this message. I'd like to be Dr. Ray for this message. Because I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to talk. This is not a theological message today. This is a message to help you learn how to live. I see a lot of our people who can recite all kind of verses and their life is messed up as I don't know what. Okay, so they don't know religious literature. They don't know how to live. Am I making sense, people? Too many people are preoccupied with trying to find the meaning of life. I'm on a search for the meaning of life. And they read, and they attend workshops, they attend seminars, trying to find the meaning of life. They want to be deep. They want to be mystic. When you look at them, they want you to see a light behind their head. Because they have found the meaning of life. Look at the person next to you and say, you shouldn't be looking for the meaning of life. Now look back out and say, you need to know the meaning of your life. See, that's the key. Trust me, life will take care of itself. With or without you. But you need to know the meaning of your life. That's key. How does one get to know themselves? What should be your first obligation? That's the subject. The answer to the question, let me give it to you. Let me fast forward and give you the answer to this question. Your first obligation should be to know thyself. Yes. That's your first obligation. Before getting a good job. Before being a good husband or a father. Before doing any of those things, your first obligation should be to know thyself. Now, how do you get to do that? How does one attain self-knowledge? The first thing you got to do, family, is you have to recognize the need to know yourself. Yes. One of the things that I have found as a therapist is that is a lot of people look like they know themselves, but they don't know themselves. And you know, sometimes I think we get hung up with honestly thinking that if we adapt to the going trend, it will appear as though we know ourselves. Yes. And that's why every time you see some people, they look different. They're always changing to fit the mold of what they think is in. Realize, family, that you have the ability to know yourself. Yes, you do. Know that it's okay to look inward. It's okay to question yourself. It's okay to learn to live by the way you feel instead of by your emotional reasoning determines. Let me say that again. It's okay to question yourself. Guess what, y'all? Get ready. Hold on. I'm ready to drop something on you. It's okay to question God. Right. Now, I know I just slapped somebody because you heard like I heard. Why don't you question God? Right. Maybe I should be a little bit more accurate and say it this way. It's okay to question what you have been taught that God said. Yeah. Right. Did that make more sense? Yeah. A lot of us have been told that God said things. And see, I do this now. I say, well, who told you that? Where'd you get that from? It's okay to feel. See, that's one of the important things in knowing thyself. We have been taught so strongly that it ain't you that matters. It's the will of God that matters. Now follow me now. How many times have you said, Lord, not my will? See, y'all didn't finish it for me. But thy will be done. Who is supposed to tell you what the will of God is? Grab what I'm saying here. Yes, right. Because most folk, when they take it upon themselves to tell you what God's will is, what they're really telling you is what their will is. Right. And they want you to comply. Am I making sense? Even as a teenager, something inside me used to say, why does God have to tell Mother so-and-so to tell me what I need to be doing? Why can't God tell me? And the truth of the matter is God does tell you. Most of the time you just don't want to listen.
That's right.
One of the reasons, family, and I hope this makes sense to you because I'm sharing what's in me is just coming out, that's all. Okay? One of the reasons that I think we avoid getting to know ourselves is because we're afraid of what we might find. A lot of us are afraid of some hidden stuff in us. And to avoid dealing with some stuff in us, we avoid getting to know ourselves. And as a result, what do? We end up taking on a character. Or we end up taking on a personality or a mask that we like. And we begin to live that instead of really being who we are. The sad thing about that is you don't realize how phony you appear to other people. Because see, y'all hear this phrase, you might be able to fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time. And trust me, there's some folk you can't fool none of the time. Okay? Because they have that insight. They have that ability to discern. Sometimes we allow you to get away with your mask. Because we love you. And we don't want to destroy you. But it's deep because it's something that when I have to say to myself after talking to some people, I have to smile, how you doing? Mom Hotep, good to see you. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know. And then I have to say, don't trust that person. You ever have that experience?
Sure.
You better have it. Look at somebody next to you and say, everybody ain't your friend. You better come to grips with that reality real quick. Okay? Now you don't have to treat them as an enemy. Just remember they ain't your friend. You see? One of the heaviest statements that I recall reading in the Bible was, and Jesus chose 12 disciples, and he knew one of them was a devil. Ain't that heavy? Think about that. I mean, you know, if that actually happened, think about the reality, think about the practicality of that. You chose to have these people around you, and yet you knew and you chose them that one of them was a devil. Wow. Even trusting them with the money. Judas was the treasurer of the 12, wasn't it? What is that? What is the message in that? The message in that is understand that people are who they are. I don't got a point here. People are who they are. Just don't let them control you by or what they are. Am I making sense, family? Yes, sir. What's the impact of doing some deep soul searching, only to realize that we're middle-aged and our lives are floating aimlessly to wherever the winds of fate take it? There seems to be and I quote, don't look too deeply. Remember I said some people don't want to really look to know themselves because they don't like what they see. Don't look too deeply because you might not like what you find mentally. Or don't look too deep because you might realize it ain't that deep at all. Take the time to get to know yourself. To become comfortable with yourself. Everybody say this. I must learn to walk in my own truth. I must learn to walk in my own truth. You see, we have all been taught that truth is a standard that somebody set. Grab this now. Truth is a standard that somebody else set. How is somebody else going to set a standard for me? You have to learn how to walk in your own truth. Yes, sir. Now, what is truth, Brother Ray? Truth is that which is consistent with fact and reality. Yes, sir. Let me say it for you again. Truth is that which is consistent with fact and reality. The problem is when you expect your reality to be my reality, and when I expect my reality to be your reality, now we got a problem. For you see, what's real for one person may not be real for someone else. Remember I taught a message respecting someone's cognitive reality? Yes, sir. What that message is actually saying is everybody has what we call developmental consciousness or developmental awareness. For example, you cannot expect a child in the 2nd grade to have the developmental consciousness or developmental awareness of a person in the 12th grade. It just does work. So learn to walk in your own truth and then feel at peace with yourself. I want y'all to grab this today. Because one of the things that I see happening so much around me is people are not at peace with themselves, not because of something that they are or something that they've done. They're not at peace with themselves because they're not complying with someone else's paradigm. Is this making sense, y'all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Know, however, I want you to know this, that once you learn to walk in your own truth, once you learn to be at peace with yourself, guess what, y'all? And I'm not telling you what I read, I'm telling you what I learned. Once you reach this point, there are other people who will not like your answers. Can I get an Ashe? There are other people who will not like your answers no matter what you do. Others will do what they can to cause you to question yourself. Can I go here now?
Yes.
Other people will start working overtime. Trying to cause you to question yourself because they are upset with your paradigm. Hope y'all don't grab it. You're fine. You getting on, you sleeping good. They're the ones stressing out. Losing sleep. Getting nervous. Can't eat. Because of what's going on in your world and that stuff. Woo! Man, grab this now. They will challenge you with sharp words like, you selfish. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You're delusional. Why are you delusional? Because they're upset. Now mind you, everything's going fine with you, but in this other person's mind, you're delusional. You're sinful. That's like, let me use the analogy. I think I shared this with y'all before. I'll share it with you again. It's like the time I was out and I had a glass of Zinfandel on the table. And somebody came along, and in their paradigm, Zinfandel is liquor. It might be. I really don't know. I haven't analyzed it to that point. Okay? But in their paradigm, they saw Pastor Ray with a glass of Zinfandel on the table. And they got messed up. I'm fine. But the person who saw it was messed up. You know why? Because within the parameters of their psychosis, preachers ain't gonna have no line. Now, honestly speaking, if I had known they were gonna come along, out of respect to their paradigm, I would not have ordered those in there. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see them. I didn't know they were coming along. I didn't. If I had seen them coming, I would have hid the glass. You know, out of respect to their paradigm. See what I'm saying? And then you have to try to explain yourself, which I'm going to touch on in a minute. Everybody say this: knowing thyself, and being thyself, are two different things. That's so important to understand. Knowing yourself and being yourself are two different things, brothers and sisters. So I don't ever try to tell a person who don't know who they are to be themselves, because that can be a dangerous thing, man. I quickly learned, brothers and sisters, that people, check this out, and I'm going to say this slowly so y'all will grab this, because you really need what I'm about to say here. People who really have no stake in my life, other than seeming free to tell me how to live mine, somehow have an opinion about me. Now I wrote that, meaning me. I guess I'm speaking from my own spirit. Let me say it so that you can apply it to you. People who really have no stake in your life, other than seeming to feel free to tell you how to live your life, always have an opinion about you. Did y'all get that? They ain't got no stake in your life. If they were to drop dead now, it wouldn't make a difference in your life. You follow what I'm saying? But yet they always feel the right to have an opinion about you. Now everybody say, that's all right.
It's all right.
That's fine. That's okay. I mean, you know, people have a right to their opinion. Can I get an objection? And what's more is people feel free to tell me and others about their opinion of me or of you. Now, making sense? The problem is, brothers and sisters, check this out now. The problem is this: when someone else's opinion about you, based in whatever level of ignorance their opinion is, affects your life. You can't stop people from having an opinion about you. And when people's opinion about you affects your life, and you can't sleep, and you start sweating, and your head getting nappy because of the person's opinion about you, you know what they tell me? They tell me that you don't know yourself. That's what that means. You see, in other words, family, in order for you to be stable, you have to know you. Because otherwise, people whose lives are miserable will make your life miserable. Because see, miserable people can't take it when they see you happy. They can't take it. They really can't. So when they look at you and they see peace on your face, when they look at you and your face looks like this, and you look at them and their face looks like this, they ain't gonna stop until they make your face look like their face. Y'all remember when I had Bell's palsy? I don't know how many of y'all were here when I had Bell's palsy. The entire left side of my face shut down. I had never had that happen to me. We were in choir rehearsal one night, and the sopranos weren't singing. And I started getting upset. I said, sing, y'all! And they looking at me. I said, why ain't y'all singing? Why ain't y'all singing? And one of the sopranos said, because Pastor, your left eye ain't closed. I said, what do you mean my left eye ain't eye closing. I couldn't feel it wasn't closing. And they said your left eye not closing when you bat your eye. So, you know, one of the, symptomatic of a stroke or anything, I went and looked in the mirror in here, and I got in the mirror and blinked, and only one eye blinked, and the other one stayed open. And so I told one of the members, I said, y'all take me to the hospital. I want to rush in case I'm having a stroke or whatever. So they got there and they found out, they said I had Bell's palsy. And it just so happened that the nurse in the emergency room, one side of her face was shut down too. She had Bell's palsy. But she had her face shut down for the last 10 years. So she got happy. She did. She got happy. You know why she got happy? Because she saw somebody else with her condition. And she said to me, I'm looking at her face, one side of her face is drooping right. She said, you got what I got. I said, you a lie. You a lie. And then she said, you knew you got Bell's palsy. I got Bell's palsy too. And only one side of her face is working right. And she said, you're going to be like me. I said, give me another nurse. We ain't having this. I refuse to let you put that energy on me. Okay? Right this minute, one side of my face might not be moving, but trust me, it won't be long. I went and bought me a massager and got home and I just sit in my chair in front of the television. Get my face back right. You know? I refuse that, man. No, Lord. Not what I saw. No, and that's the attitude you have to take, brothers and sisters, when people with negative energy and people who don't know themselves come to you. Because they want you to be like them. They are unhappy. They want you to be unhappy. They're not centered. They want you to be off-centered. So what they'll do is they'll bring you with a whole lot of stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with you. And if you ain't careful, they'll suck you right in, and the smile that you once had will become a frown. And you'll come through the door, and I'll be looked over to somebody and say, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? You see, family, when you get to know yourself, you will find that some people literally do not have minds, follow this now, some people do not have minds that handle abstract thought very well. So to expect them to be able to grasp that you are not them is to expect something from them that they're not capable of doing. Just this week, I was in a conversation with someone, and they were getting all upset because their response was, well, it seems to me that if they really felt that way, they would do this. And I said to them, I said, one of the biggest mistakes we make in life is honestly thinking that other people operate on our paradigm. Look at the person next to you and say, I must learn that my paradigm is my paradigm. And that's okay. Understand that. It's okay for your paradigm to be your paradigm. The problem comes is when other people don't do what your paradigm wants done, and then you get upset with them. Okay? You see, some people really don't understand that their paradigm is not a world standard. Did that make sense, y'all? In fact, say that. Say, I must understand understand that my personal paradigm is not a world standard. Don't ever forget that. Many people just don't seem to have that certain skill that helps our brains grasp the ambiguity of what other people are. And I'll be honest with you. What I'm sharing with you now, family, I have to grow to what I'm saying. As a spiritual leader, as a pastor, as a teacher, over people, I have to literally grow to the point that I'm saying right now. To where I really understand, okay, that some people's ambiguity just ain't gonna fit my brain. Now, what do I mean by ambiguity? Uncertainty. You don't know where they're coming from. We call them wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Y'all get that? See, I used to get upset with wishy-washy people. And I learned the only person that's hurting here is me. I'm stressing out. My blood pressure going up because I'm dealing with a wishy-washy person. Now who's the fool?
You are.
Right, I am. I'm about to send myself into an aneurysm dealing with somebody's wishy-washiness. Look at somebody and say, you can't do that. No, don't do that. To expect people to understand, check this out, y'all. To expect people to understand things that they are not capable of understanding. Did y'all get that? Let me say it again. To expect people to understand things that they are not capable of understanding is the same as being angry because your 6-year-old child didn't understand calculus. To expect people to understand things that they are not capable of understanding is the same thing as getting angry with your 6-year-old child because they're not understanding calculus. Okay? You see, family, this is how we must approach life. This is the key to getting along with others. We must approach life with the understanding that most people, now grab what I'm saying, most people cling to some sense of stability or some sense of order in the chaos of their world. Some of you that's been here, you can bear witness. How many times you heard me say, the people here are just so complacent. People here are just so complacent. And the Creator and the ancestors have to deal with me about that. And help me understand. Like I said, I had to grow to this point. It's not necessarily complacency as much as it is stability. Am I making sense, y'all? In other words, when you're dealing with people who got a lot of chaos in their world, the last thing they need is uncertainty. Okay? So here you have people who, even though they've been holding on to what the Roman Catholic Church created in the 4th century, that has become their stability. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay, it's some sort of stability in their world of chaos. And then here comes this little dude from the East Coast who gonna come along and say stuff that folks ain't heard before and expect them to just back away from the thing that has given them some sense of stability. Am I making sense? It just don't work like that. We must understand that some people are literally unable to let go of the fundamental constant in their life until they're ready to let go of it. And the reason why they're unable to let go is for fear of plummeting headlong into a world turned upside down by a hell-bound existence. That fear factor, man. You see, once you come to the point, family, of knowing yourself, rather than expect others to understand you and accept you, then your goal, grab this. Once you come to the point of knowing yourself, rather than expecting others to understand you and accept you, then that will enable you to help them to respect you and your right to be you, as long as being you does not cause harm or injury to others. Was that too long? Okay? I want to be sure y'all grab that now. Want me to say it again? Okay, here we go. Once you come to the point of knowing yourself, right? Rather than expecting others to understand and accept you. See, many of us are so preoccupied with trying to get other people to accept us. We're so preoccupied with trying to get other people to understand us. That's not what's important. What's important is that you know yourself. And once you know yourself, those who don't understand you or accept you, it's okay, because your focus now becomes helping them to respect you. Not accept you, but to respect you. Okay? See, this is what I'm talking. See, this is where my focus is in trying to heal the community. See? In other words, y'all, it's not really important that people accept you. What's more important is that they respect you. And even if a person does not understand you, even if a person does not accept you, if you carry yourself in a certain way, they might not understand you, but doggone it, they'll respect you. Yes, they will. I've actually had pastors even say to me, say, man, I don't know what that message you're talking about. But one thing I can say about a doctor, you know, you all right, brother. That's some deep stuff. I'd rather hear that. I'd rather hear that you see that I am an okay person than trying to grab everything that has taken me all these years of research to grab. You follow what I'm saying? You know why? Because if you know that I'm an okay person, sooner or later, I can help you to understand what I understand. But if you think I ain't an okay person, me and you ain't gonna ever have a conversation. Am I making sense? Now, let me get down to the issue here. Where am I looking at on the clock? 8 minutes. I got 8 minutes because I'm about to do that, I think. Everybody say this, knowing thyself. Now, here we go. We always talk about know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. Over the doors of every doorway in Kemet is, you see the Kemetic symbol, which means man know thyself, man know thyself. We talk about man, but let me tell y'all something about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is painful. Let me say it again, knowing thyself is painful. Let me tell you why it's painful. Knowing thyself is about dealing with the fear, the ignorance, the confusion, the anger, the sadness, the love, the hate, the need, the hurt in other people who want you to be what they want you to be. Okay? Or doing the things that they want you to do. It's about finding your direction in your life. See, that's the problem. Too many people are trying to find direction for somebody else. That ain't your assignment.
That's right. That's right.
It's not your assignment to go out of here and try to find direction for other people's lives. No. To know yourself means finding your direction for your life. Okay? It's about finding the ultimate meaning of why you are here. It's about dealing with your expectations of yourself. Whoa! of yourself compared to dealing with other people's expectations of you. Do y'all know how many expectations people put on us? Well, I expect you to do this. I expect you to do that. I expect you to do that. And what's really deep about it is when you have to live with unspoken expectations. What do you mean, Pastor Greg, when you say unspoken expectation? That's when, for example, you meet somebody, right? And you've engaged into a relationship with this person, and then all of a sudden one day you go over to this person's house or whatever, you see this person, and they got an attitude with you. And you want to know why. What's the matter? Okay? And they say something like, you ain't called me. Okay? Now, some deep stuff, because you never made it plain to me that you expected for me to call you. You see how we just take people for granted? Am I making sense? Okay? And we place expectations on people automatically. You know why? Because that's our paradigm. Again, back to the concept where a person says, well, it seems to me like if you would do this, it's such and such and such. And the thing is, well, that's how it seems to you. Right. Am I making sense? I was talking to a couple, I guess maybe about 4 months ago now, and he was explaining to me, he said, man, I love to read. I just love to read. I love to read. Every day I got a book in my hand. But since I married this woman, I ain't picked up a book yet. You follow what I'm saying? In other words, he was trying to meet her expectation of him. You got me? And in trying to meet her demand for time and attention, he stopped reading. You see how this works? He never explained to her, I need to read. So therefore, she didn't know how to adjust her demands on him. It became a cancer in their relationship. Knowing thyself is about how much you owe yourself to live your life. Knowing thyself is about knowing how much you owe yourself to live whose life? Your own life. It's about finding those things that make you happy. It's about finding those things that bring you peace, that makes you accept yourself. It's about dealing with loss. It's about dealing with the joy of discovery. It's about dealing with the fear of the unknown. It's about taking risks and making mistakes. That's what knowing yourself is all about. It's about you taking control of whose life? Your own life. It's about you taking control of your life instead of letting others control your life with their expectations and obligations they place upon you. Knowing yourself means that you don't have to explain yourself. Write this down. Write it or say it. I don't care how you do it. Say this. Never explain.
Never explain.
Let's say it again. Say never explain.
Never explain.
Now say this. Your friends don't need it.
Your friends don't need it.
And your enemies ain't going to bleed you anyhow. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So knowing thyself means that you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to defend yourself, or you don't have to apologize for yourself because others can't understand and accept you. Rather, check this out now, rather, if you choose to explain yourself, it's only out of a compassion for the ignorance of those who think that you don't have it together. Did that make sense, y'all? If you choose to explain yourself, it's only out of a compassion for the ignorance of those who don't think you have it together because you're not operating within the parameters of their paradigm. So know thyself. As I close, be prepared to find out things about yourself that you ain't gonna like. Telling y'all now. And then be prepared to find out things about you that you do like. Knowing thyself. Be ready to make changes. Uh-oh. Yes. Be ready to see things in a new way. Be ready to do things that others won't or can't understand or accept. In other words, family, know thyself. And then once you get to know thyself, be thyself. And then once you learn to be thyself, be at peace with thyself. And I promise you, if you do this, your body will heal itself. I'll show you.